What is up, people? How's it going? Podcast number 2, Weddings. The Scoop Weddings Unveiled. And we've got Brandy. Brandy, how's it going?
Hello, hello.
What's up, girl?
Nothing. Lots of great things, actually, but you know.
That's cool.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, it is an exciting day.
It is podcast day.
It is podcast day. Whoop. I'm messing up video here. I'm trying to get this figured out.
We're work in progress. Gotta love us or not. I mean, it's
there we go.
We are what
you
we
can't
are.
see it, but I can.
All right.
All right.
We're good.
Tim Schaus, TLS Entertainment, your premier DJ.
Whoop, whoop.
And Brandy Harlan, wedding planner, also over at the Bishop Museum in Manatee County in Bradenton.
Yeah.
Once again, yes, podcast number 2. Welcome to The Scoop Weddings Unveiled. We're just kind of getting used to these things. Again, some topics that we will be discussing in the future. How to get involved in the wedding industry. We kind of talked about that in our first one a little bit. That's at least what we kind of talked about, how we got involved into it. Marriage advice for engaged couples. We'll be talking about that. We'll bring on a marriage counselor. And you know, he or she can talk to us about some marriage advice, I guess.
All the things you should and should not do.
Yeah. Let's see here. How to pick the perfect DJ entertainment for your big day, or your photographer, videographer, florals, decor, anything.
Like your dream team. Like
you're
building.
How to pick your dream team. Write that down.
Got it. Like if you were building a World Series team, or you know.
Anyway, let's hear how to market your business to engage couples. That'll be for more of our frienders and vendors, and then today, how to be a good guest. So this goes out to anybody attending a wedding.
Yes. How
to be a good guest, and then if you're planning a wedding, what to expect for budgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two fun topics.
Two fun topics, but before we get started, let's talk about this past weekend.
Yeah.
What did you have going on this past weekend? Did you have any weddings, anything going on?
So at the museum, we did not have any weddings. We had our big annual gala, our big fundraiser of the year that helps with our operating costs. And so that was a long day on Saturday. So it was like 18 hours and almost 400 people. And it was really amazing and magical. And Baking's band was out there. So
Baking's band, okay. Nice. All right. How many people were there?
Almost 400.
At the Bishop?
Yeah.
Where was that? Because I know there's like multiple locations.
Yeah. So we started cocktail hour in the courtyard.
Yep.
And we had a 3-piece band out there. Started that with VIP service, Michael's on East. And then we went through the museum toward that. Ended up on the Riverside with in the plaza.
Okay.
Yeah.
400 people in the plaza.
Yeah, about 400.
Nice.
For our closest friends and donors, and yeah.
Nice. And that was, what day was that? That was on
the 5th.
The 5th?
Saturday.
Saturday. So that was the only thing that you guys had this past weekend?
Yeah. We shut
no
down
weddings.
and don't book out anything on the day prior or the day after for cleanup and setup, because we do staging and
so you
everything.
do one wedding a week, or one event wedding per weekend?
Not normally. Sometimes we have 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. But in this case...
Yeah, unless it's the bash, it's the only time we block off.
Got it. Okay. All right, cool. So that's good to know. So for anybody who is looking at the Bishop Museum as a wedding venue, you want to go see Brandy Harlan, she'll help you out.
Lots of options.
For me, TLS Entertainment, we had, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events and weddings this past weekend. And we are in November.
And there's not 7 of you.
No, there's not 7 of me personally, no. But yeah, we're in the heart of wedding season. Just so you guys know, for anybody listening outside of Florida, wedding season is typically, let's say, September. Well,
like end of September.
End of September, and then like through June. So September through June. So like October, November, lots of weddings. December, there's weddings, but there's more holiday parties. I'm sure that's what you've seen.
Yep.
And then January, February, March, April, May, June, like it's go time.
Yeah, I think the 2 most popular months are October and March, if you were to say the most popular out of those.
I beg to differ.
I don't know.
November.
But there's a lot of holiday events, though, too.
True. Well, the first weekend in November for us.
Yeah.
7. All right. So we had We had one at Mixon's, your old stomping ground,
Yes.
which went really well. I personally, where was I? Oh, I was at a venue called Rafter J Ranch.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Rafter J Ranch. It's it's like a barn style
yeah.
wedding. It was really awesome, awesome time there. We were also at Baker's Ranch because we are a preferred vendor at Baker's. And then we also did a school gala.
Oh, which one?
I think it was Sarasota Christian
Oh, fun.
at the Hyatt Regency,
Oh, that's cool.
downtown Sarasota. So shout out to all of my awesome DJs that were working those events. And then that was Saturday. And then Sunday, I personally was at Baker's Ranch. And then we were at, I think, Longboat Key and... Oh, the Ritz. We were at the Ritz again. Or not again, but we were at the Ritz.
Putting on the Ritz.
Yeah. That was love the Ritz.
Yes.
Busy
weekend.
Yeah, but that particular venue at the Ritz, like the ballroom that we were in was one of their smaller ballrooms, so it was literally on the other end of campus. It takes us, and I actually timed it. It takes me 5 minutes to walk from where my trailer is all the way to the other end just to get.
And there's no like.
Nope, they do not. They will send security at you. I've had security come at me because I literally went out into like the public main area,
Yeah,
but I didn't have any of my equipment. I just like went to ask a question and so they like, and I had already checked in and I was just like, hey, where can I find this ballroom? And they're like, oh, it's that way, and didn't have any of my equipment. And then like security ended up, we heard there was a problem. I'm like, no, man, like get out of here. God, the Ritz.
Do I look like a problem?
I was like, you are keeping me from setting up, and it takes me an hour and a half just to walk back and forth.
Yeah. So you
to get all my
grab
stuff. So that was
like, yeah, there's a problem. I need you to help me carry some things.
Yeah. So we had 7 weddings. Nothing. I mean, they were all successful, all great.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy that I can think of, especially at mine. At mine we had DJ, photo booth, Cold Spark effects. We had lighting at Mixon, so it was a nice. Our uplights were over there. The lighting package and so forth. So yeah, it was pretty tame. I mean, it was a busy weekend, but
like everything went smooth.
Everything went smoothly, so that was good.
That's good.
So that was this past weekend's weddings, and then this upcoming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, again, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 weddings and events, Friday through Sunday. So, yeah, another busy weekend. And again, we'll be at Mixon's again. We'll be at Rafter J Ranch again, Baker's. Where else?
You were at the Bishop a year ago from tomorrow.
Ah, that's right. It was your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
90th or the 90s birthday. 90th.
I look so good.
90s birthday.
Yes.
That was fun. I love 90s music. If I could do a 90s themed event again, I would love to. It's my favorite. That's my favorite style of music.
Send me a mix. Birthday's on Saturday.
All right, I've been meaning to create a mix. So if anybody's on SoundCloud or Mixcloud, look up TLS Entertainment, and you can hear me mix. You can hear some of my DJs mix. We've got all of our remixes on there, so you can hear our styles
and work out to them.
And you can work out to them, yeah.
Yes.
Or if you just want to hear how we transition and our style of DJing for your wedding or for your event, that's a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
All right, so that covers the weddings and events for this past weekend and the coming up weekends, or this weekend anyway. We're gonna go into how to be a good guest. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the budgets will take a little bit longer, but how to be a good guest. Brandy, how do you be a good guest at a wedding?
Oh, there's a list.
And I'm sure there is. I mean, you're the wedding planner. I mean, I'm behind a DJ booth, and I mean, I don't want to say you're dealing with, but you are out
navigating.
You're navigating. Yeah, good choice of words. Yeah. You are navigating, with the couple, with the bride and groom, or with the couple, and then you're also working with the couple's parents, and you're working with the guests, and you are kind of delivering the information to the DJ or to the entertainment, who are basically, you're running the show, but we are voicing the show.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it.
You deliver.
We deliver. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what do you got for me?
I think it all starts with the invitation. When you get an invitation in the mail, RSVP.
Yay or nay?
Yay or nay?
Yay or nay?
It's okay if it's a nay, but I don't think guests realize that and this may sound harsh, but your head has a dollar amount on it, which is what we're going to talk about
budgets.
next. But you're an expense to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So for every person that says, I don't know, or they don't RSVP and then they show up, that alters the end cost for the couple. So they may get a bill afterwards saying, oh, you said there was 55 people coming and we fed 70. There won't be that many,
right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's an added expense, or you run out of food, or you don't have enough seats. Like it's a domino effect when you don't RSVP.
Yeah. Oh, and here's a quick little tidbit of like a little tip for when you do send out RSVPs. For a DJ's perspective, on that RSVP, put a little spot in there to say, if you attend the wedding, I will go onto the dance floor if the DJ plays this, and then you get to put your request on there.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Because that's get paid.
Yeah. Well, but it's a great way to then you can take all of those songs and then send that list over to the DJ.
And it takes the pressure off of you too, because whatever you listen to doesn't mean your friends listen to the same thing. You might listen to similar things, but
obviously, as a DJ, we want to cater everything to the couple and make sure that the soundtrack of your day, evening, and night is all about you guys. But your guests want to hear their favorite songs as well. So that's always a great way to create that request list and send it over to the DJ or the band or whoever it is ahead of time. That helps prep wise for everybody involved. So, all right. So number 2.
Secondly, arrive on time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
If you are profoundly normally late in life,
if it says it's going to take you 30 minutes to get there,
plan for an hour.
Oh, I was going to say 45, but okay. I like an hour.
And then just wait in your car.
Well, I was just saying
until it's time to come in.
Well, I was just going to say if it says it's going to take 30 minutes to get somewhere, leave 45 minutes ahead of time. But I would always suggest getting there at least 15 minutes early. At least.
Yeah. And if you're trying to tell yourself what time to leave your home, pad it by 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how late you typically are. But when guests walk in and literally as a planner, we're like, okay, there's 2 seats over there on the far end. I mean,
I'm right there with you.
It's not fun.
When we were working at Mixon's together, I just remember you were ready to go, and then I would look behind my shoulder because I can see the parking lot and people walking in. And I'm like, Brandy, wait 1 second. We got 2 more stragglers coming in, and it's 5:05. It should have started 5 minutes.
And I would send my second assist or my first assist to the parking lot to do a sweep because there's always someone. So because the parking lot was that close, you could do that. You could go out and say, okay, there's nobody pulling in, or hey, we've got like 7 people walking up. That's just disruptive. And then they walk across the aisle. When the bride is
but that goes for any venue. I mean, I've seen people show up 20 minutes late. I'm like, what? What happened?
Right? You should have just stayed in the car and just joined us at cocktail.
Right. Show up early, people.
I was there for the ceremony.
Get there on time. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Time.
Then, number 3, you are not the paid photographer.
Ooh.
You are not. Your iPhone is, I'm sure, wonderful and fabulous, and you want to capture all those things. But guess what? The couple paid a lot of good money, and they may have to pay more to Photoshop you out.
Oh, my God. Yep.
Of the aisle.
And that's another thing. I mean, I know sometimes, and I don't know if this is part of the wedding planner or if the couples bring this, but those signs that say, this is an unplugged ceremony. And to this day now, I always ask, like, hey, do you want me to make that announcement?
Always.
Please put your cell phones away, your cameras away, be fully present in the moment with the couple, and then we can party afterwards.
Absolutely. And really, it's just a courtesy to everyone that's there. I like the signs, but I also like having it said. And there have been times where it was very...
Imagine seeing this.
Just like that. No.
Imagine seeing this.
And I'm walking, or the couple's walking down the aisle, and they're like... And no, it's not fun. And there have been instances where I've been told, yes, take their phone away if they have it out, or ask them to put it. I've had to walk up to uncles standing behind couples,
slap it out of their hand
in the middle of ceremony, trying to get a video. Like they cut through the bridesmaids. I'm like, what are you? No, don't be that guest.
Nope. Yeah. So especially during ceremony, I mean, don't be late.
Yeah, don't be late.
Put your camera away.
RSVP.
RSVP. Put your camera away.
Yep. And I would say also, don't be rude to staff or to servers or anybody that's there to do a job, because they're there to do a job that was given to them instruction-wise from the couple. So if it's going a certain way and you're not happy with how it's going, and this goes to, you know, mothers of the bride, grooms, like fathers of the bride, like close-knit family members to the couple. But I paid for it. Then go to all the meetings. Go to all the meetings, because then you can't really change all those things last minute, and then the couple's like looking like, wait, why is this happening, or what's going on with this? Oh, well, mom said da 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 da. So I tend to not like contour myself or change anything unless I address it with someone who is a point person, not the couple, not the groom, not the bride, that I can point to them and say, okay, this is what the question is. I just need a yes or no.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and then when things aren't going the way that you think they should go, just know that there's a rhyme and a reason for it. It's been previously discussed, or there's had to be some type of a pivot to help make up for like late start, or there's an issue with something. So just know that they're not doing it intentionally. So be nice to everybody and don't get too drunk.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, we're there to have a good time.
But we don't like to, like, staff doesn't want to clean up after you.
Well, but also, like, we don't want any rowdy guests.
Yes,
I've had not so many, but I've had quite a few guests, like, actually try and pick a fight with me.
Oh, yeah. Or they get so drunk they run into all your equipment.
Well, that's another thing, too.
That's a whole other thing.
I've literally had to, like, stop people. Like, get away.
Back away.
Get away from my stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be next to the dance floor because that's where everything's happening. I want to be involved. I want to be in it with all the guests. But
just be respectful.
when you see people starting to get a little crazy out there, that's scary. I mean, we got like $10,000 in equipment. And then, I got one.
Yeah, what's yours?
Guests. Listen carefully, please. All right. We have speakers on the dance floor, and some of us have subs, and they look like tables. They look like tables with speakers on top. Do not put your drinks on there. Do not put your drinks on there, please. It is not a table. It's not for you. It's not for you to put your drinks on.
And it will disappear. You put it there, and it will disappear.
And
my
table, you see my table. That's not for you to put your drinks on either. That's my DJ table. I'm working, and I don't need your wet drink with all the condensation getting all over my equipment.
Yes, absolutely. And I think another one is there's always someone, most times, there's that one that's not quite dating someone or not engaged or not there yet in their relationship status, and they try to make it about themselves. And as a female, usually tries to make the wedding about themselves, or they try to take over and say, this is what the bride wants, or this is what the groom wants. And
like part of the bridal party, or just...
No, like random guests will do
I don't listen to random guests.
Yeah, we can't... The planners over here have to deal with those, and they will interject, and
well, I'm the
you'll have
brother.
Your day, honey. You'll have your day.
I'm the sister of...
And she doesn't like mustard or whatever it might be.
Well, it says here she loves it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So just know that you've come to enjoy and just be in the moment as a guest.
And then guests, if you're going to make a song request, like we don't mind it. Just make sure it's a good one. Yeah. Make sure it's a good request. Yeah. And then also...
Don't get mad.
Don't get mad if we don't play it.
Or if it's on the do not play list.
Well, I will have no problem showing you. I'll be like, listen... See right here? This is the do not playlist. Your song is on there.
Guess what?
Yeah. Like if you can get approval and I get the go ahead from the bride, I'll play it.
Yeah, don't make them feel bad for saying no either. Yeah. If they tell you if the couple tells you no and the groom's like, no, we're not playing that, don't play it.
Yeah, I know some DJs will say that they try not to like call out the bride, or not like call them out, but say like, oh well, it's on the do not playlist. I mean, I have no problem saying the bride and groom don't want it on. They don't want to play it. Yeah. They don't want me to play
There's
it.
a reason.
The Cupid
it could be from a past relationship or something.
Right, exactly. But like a lot of the do not play requests that we get from the couples are are like those line dances, like the Cupid Shuffle, the Cha-Cha Slide, the Wobble.
Let's be more creative.
Well, I mean, and I typically won't play them anyway, and my team doesn't typically play them either, unless it's requested.
Yeah.
And majority of the time, it's requested. So anytime I get that on the do not play or the do not play request side of things from the couple, I'll always ask them. I won't play it, but what if it's requested? Is it still a do not play, or only play it if requested? And they'll usually say, okay, well, you can play it if it's requested, but I'd rather not. So
rather not. So there's like my qualms about being a guest. I don't know if you have any more to add.
No, I threw my 2 cents in.
I'm very passionate about the topic.
Yeah.
Only it just makes for a better night for everyone involved, and it's just not a place for any kind of drama. Or I will say, a couple weeks ago, or a month ago or so, we had a maid of honor who cried the whole entire time during rehearsal.
Okay.
And then cried the whole entire time during the wedding, and it was a complete distraction.
Why was she crying? Because like she was happy for
emotional.
She was happy for the bride.
Figure it out, but she probably. And then her and her mate got into an argument at rehearsal, and then they were in an argument at the wedding, and then we saw them the next day walking down the sidewalk outside, the space, and they were arguing again. So it was just try really hard to keep your emotions in check, especially when it's a distraction to the point where she was using her arm to
take that ish outside. We don't want it.
just muster it for just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and to piggyback off of your rude comment, don't be rude. Yeah. Don't be rude to the staff. Don't be rude to the vendors. I know so often, because, we also have a photo booth with TLS.
Oh.
There's been many a time where guests will come over and just be rude to the attendant there,
or the supplies, or
the
props.
The props, too. Yeah. I mean,
just toss them around, and
I mean, they will. Yeah, they'll just throw it around. I mean, that's fine, and we expect that. But don't be rude to the attendant.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of my previous attendants, she basically was like, "I'm not doing this anymore," and it was at a holiday party. A year ago or so, and basically, I mean, the guests were super rude and like almost broke the equipment. And so actually, that company reached out to me again this year. I was like, nah,
we're booked.
Yeah, I'm not going there. So
and that lends back to don't be wasted and get so drunk, because a lot of times those same people that are being extremely rude or whatnot and just treating people horribly have drank too much.
Yeah.
Or just pace yourself a little.
Yeah.
So
that's
our topics.
That's just a few snippets of how to be a good guest.
Yes.
1, show up on or RSVP.
Yes.
2, show up on time.
Early.
Show up. If you're early,
10, 15
if you're
minutes.
early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. Be nice people. It's a crazy world out there.
Don't be crazy emotional.
I mean, you can be emotional,
but don't be a distraction.
Yeah. Hold on.
Don't be drunk.
Make sure you give a DJ a good song request.
Yeah.
Don't make it stupid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, we're going to move on.
Something obscure. You've never, you have to dig deep into a crate to
But
find.
I will say, I mean, you have to take it with a grain of salt, though, because there are times where, somebody will come up to me and say, hey, play this song. And I'm like, ugh, I don't know. And then they're like, no, trust me. It's the groom's favorite song during, it's like a group.
It's a memory.
There, yeah. And sure enough, I'm like, all right, well, if it's bad, I'm calling you out.
Yeah.
And if it's good,
thanks.
Thank you. And I'll play it, and it's a banger. Like something that I...
Yeah, sometimes when you trust it, you're like, oh my word.
And I was like, all right, well played, sir. And then, of course, they look back like, I told you.
Told you. Yep.
Whatever. Get out of here. All right. Moving on.
Fun topic. Budget. Dollar bills.
What to expect when planning your wedding here in Sarasota and Bradenton? What wedding budget should you expect? From some of the main things, let's start with the venue.
So I did a little research, and I use the Knot a lot, and so this is just a general budget, so it's not based typically on zip code, but these are percentages of your budget, and it doesn't all add up to 100 because there's always going to be a percentage where you need to save a little because some things are going to go over budget, right? So venue is 30% of your budget.
Of your total budget.
30%. That to me seems a bit high.
Okay.
Depending on your budget, of course, but when they're offering like an inclusive package or something of that nature, then that makes sense because you're getting more boxes checked.
Right. So like I know
particular venue.
I know, and sorry if I'm calling anybody out here, but I know like at Lakewood Ranch, I mean beautiful venue, Lakewood Ranch Golf and Country Club, love it there. Shout out to them. There, I believe it's like around like 15 to 20,000. But that's I think to rent or to utilize their venue. But I want to say like part of it has catering
because they have their own catering.
Well, they have their own catering, so I think part of it like does have like a portion of that goes towards the food costs.
That probably includes tables.
Yeah, tables and so forth. So there's a lot. Yeah, so I mean, you definitely want to take that in consideration. I will say, and again, I don't want to come off track here, but if you are doing it like a backyard style wedding, it's not always cheaper. I'll let you know that right now.
Yes,
exactly. I personally have experience in that. Not always cheaper.
Not always cheaper. Because you have to account for things that are automatic in other places, like bathrooms.
Well, bathrooms and tables, all rentals,
lighting, like a lot
everything.
of lighting.
So it is not always cheaper. Yeah. It's sometimes just as expensive. So next round.
Yes.
All right. So venue, you'd say is about 30%.
30%
of your total budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so some things before we get too far into it, some things to think about before you base your percentages and figure out what you're doing and before you shop for anything, you need to sit down and look at what that budget is. And I always say if you don't have a financial planner or if you want to really say, okay, if this is the date we want to get married, what does that look like in financial status? Like how long do we need to save? How much do we need to save? And get yourself on a right track for that, because the best way to stretch your budget is to push your date. Because it takes you, then you have longer to save and longer to pay for things. So therefore you're kind of stretching your budget per se.
That's true. Yeah, you get more time to pay for it.
Yeah, so it takes you more time. And talk to a financial advisor, because they may say, oh, okay, based on X, Y, and Z factors, you're going to need this many months to save for that. Just like when you're saving for the wedding ring. They say there's a certain percentage and you have to save for so many months. The same thing goes for the wedding.
For venues, is it true that like if you do like on a Friday or a Sunday, it's cheaper than on a Saturday? Or
yes, and during the week is
and during the week too. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know, but I mean, there's a lot of like outdoor style like venues here that you got to be. I mean, and I'm sure like summer months too.
Yeah.
But I know some venues will close down like we ain't doing anything during the summer. It's too damn hot.
Yeah, some will. And so those are factors that you have to take into consideration, because there are ways to save when you're looking at your venue. You just have to see, like, because some couples are like, I have to have this specific date.
Yeah.
It's in 9 months. Is that doable? Is that feasible for 250 people? Most likely not, unless you already have, someone who's been saving since you were little to help pay for that, or you've got extra income coming in that's been designated for your wedding. Then 9 months to plan for 250 people is probably not that reasonable.
True.
Catering. 23%.
23%.
Yes. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of caveats to that. Right now, I would say that number is too low because of inflation, because I just did the gala this weekend, and I think our catering bill was $70,000.
For 400 people.
76,000 for 375. For 375. That's what it was based
on. All right,
on, 375.
And that was for Michael's on East, though.
Yeah, Michael's on East.
Michael's on East.
Yes, it's a higher end company, and they are amazing.
Really good food.
The staff was amazing. They were flawless. But so taking that into consideration, you get what you pay for.
Sure.
So if you're asking for filet and salmon and shrimp and things like that, you're going to get what you pay for. But if you're willing to say, you know what, let's create a meal that's maybe not as like fancy, but maybe it's unique to your family, or maybe it's custom, like, maybe you do breakfast for dinner, something like that, and make it a little different. It's going to be cheaper, but it's also going to be really cool because it's unique.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can cut costs that way.
All right. And, okay. So catering is, and what do you, for like 100-person wedding, just ballpark, If you were to do like a buffet, not plated.
Buffet between $30 and $35, maybe 40
Per plate.
per person.
Or per person. Well, yeah, per person. Okay, $30, $35.
My per person was $70.
Well, again,
past weekend.
And that was buffet or was that plated?
That was plated. Yeah. Which I think is still a really great price for plated for filet and salmon.
Well, and Michael's on East again is really it's an amazing restaurant.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So catering. So that's all right. So that's 23%.
Yeah. So let's look at some of the other things. Band music. I'll let you handle that one. On here it says 13% for a band, and then it says guest entertainment 3%. So I don't know what they're really considering band versus guest entertainment, but maybe it's somewhere in between those.
Yeah, I see, again, percentage-wise, I'm not sure. I just can give you like somewhat of a dollar amount.
Like a range, yeah.
But don't skip out on your DJ because ultimately... Or don't skip out on your entertainment.
Yes. Yes.
Because,
I have a category of things not to cheap out on.
Right. And like I understand like florals are beautiful and decor is beautiful and it like sets the mood. Well, it sets like it
sets something.
It gives you like an ambiance for sure. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
they die.
Well, I was at Lakewood Ranch a few weeks ago, and they had these beautiful floral arrangements. Right. And at the end of the night, they're like, "Will you please take these home with you?" Because nobody was taking them home, and they were these huge these bouquets. And I'm like, "Where am I going to put that? I won't even fit in my car." No,
especially if you have a lot of out of town guests.
Yeah,
really think about what you have left over that you're going to want people to take home.
Yeah.
That you're spending a lot of money on.
Yeah, the mother of the bride.
In the trash.
Yeah, the mother of the bride was like, "We don't know what we're going to do with these." I'm like, "Well, you shouldn't have bought them."
Yeah, and it happens. They don't ever think at the end of the night, what do we do with all this stuff?
Right, but ultimately, like for DJs, I mean, I feel like DJs or entertainment in general should be higher up on the list or be as far as importance because basically we're running the show. I mean,
Absolutely.
Ultimately, like your wedding planner is putting everything together, and then we run it for the wedding planner. We are making all the announcements. Yep. We are setting the tone for the entire evening. If it wasn't for us, I mean, how are you going to get in front of, like, how are you going to tell everybody what to do?
And it makes everybody's job a lot harder, too, when you don't have a DJ MC to make everything move along smoothly. And so
if you don't have a good one, it's not going to be good. You get what you pay for.
Exactly.
And with that also, not to cut you off, but I'm very
it's a passion.
I'm very passionate about it, and I have my own thoughts, but when couples come to me and say, "Oh, you're just too expensive," okay, like that's fine. I wish you luck, and congrats on your engagement. But we want to throw a party that your wedding deserves.
Absolutely.
Ultimately. So I know we'll do that. And there's a lot of really good entertainment companies out there that will do that as well, but we're not cheap.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when people start looking into it, they're like, "Oh, wait."
Yeah, why are you so expensive?
But this is the norm.
You're only here for 4 hours. There's a lot of prep work. Prep work beforehand that, and then we've got to set up, break down, and then also like we've got thousands and thousands of dollars in equipment that we've
that we're trusting to your
invested in. All right.
Yeah. So I would say, in corresponding with that, though, there are 3 areas that I would say do not skimp on it, and that's food, music, photography, and videography. Those 3.
Okay.
Because those make a difference. You can't get photos and video back.
Nope.
Once it's done, it's done. The food, that's the first thing people will complain about.
Oh, my God.
Music will end your night early if it's not good, and you just spent all that money to be there for X number of hours, and everybody's gone home, and it was a waste.
Well, and I've had many a time where couples have come to me like, or reach out to me months later like, "Oh, my God, people are still commenting about the party, about the music, the DJ, like everything." And like,
and that evokes motion.
Right. We create memories that way.
Absolutely.
I mean, no always remember, "Oh, what kind of floral arrangement did you have?" And again, not to knock on all the florals. Sorry, guys, but
it's just a different
and
level.
they do an amazing job. But like I've seen people spend like $15,000, $20,000 on florals, and then they go crazy like, "Oh my gosh, you're $2,000 for entertainment?"
Or takeaway gifts that like the guests aren't going to use. Like, stop buying favors. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's an expense that's not necessary
Well, and
unless
if you
it's
want-
something that's really like a donation to your favorite organization or something that's actually useful, like a koozie or an actual cup or something of that nature. That's where I feel like a lot of couples like spend so much thought and budget on those little things that really don't
Well, I
make a
think if you want to do
difference.
something like a favor or something, you can get, and you can typically add this on at a later date, is like a photo booth.
Yeah.
A photo booth,
Do
because
something that makes sense.
it's something that the guests can take home with them. You can also take home with you.
And it's a sign-in book.
You can have a sign-in book. I mean,
It serves so many purposes.
yeah, and it's something to get your guests involved into something, and instead of just like sitting there.
Yeah. And my favorite part in looking at photo booth photos is
the
starting.
progression.
Is the progression of,
Oh, yeah.
prim and proper. Oh, they were drunk.
Mhm.
So some of the other areas that they have on here is couples attire says 6%. I think that's low because wedding dresses and attire these days, it's not. I mean, everything's becoming a lot more couture. I will say there's a lot of more dual use dresses out there where they have like built-in 2 dresses or whatever between cocktail and reception, so you're not having to buy 2 dresses. So there is that component. But think of the suit. I mean, you can rent all day, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to go to another wedding or another event that's going to require a suit. So I say get a custom suit. We have a great company here locally called Tweeds. They are amazing. They will hook you up with a suit that's just custom to you, or they also have like regular suits that you don't have to customize too much. That's in a great price range, but get something that fits
Yeah.
and it doesn't make you look like a linebacker. If you're wearing a suit or doesn't, and make sure everybody tries
We'll
them
have
on.
to get Donald over here
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Tweeds.
He's
I
awesome.
have a suit from Tweeds. Love it.
Yes,
Fully
that.
custom, and yeah. I mean, he does a great job. I mean, you can also go to Men's Warehouse and get them custom done. But yeah. All right, what else we got?
We've got wedding rings. I'm just going to go through a few of these. Wedding rings at 7%. It says lighting and decor 5%. Wedding planner 5%. That's low. Just saying.
Wedding planner?
5%. Because at the end of the day, having a good wedding planner, and that was one of my points, is that if you have a great wedding planner, they will help you with your budget, and they're going to end up having you save more money at the end because they know the ins and the outs. They know where they can get things a little cheaper, or they can do things that look like what you want, that looks like it's super like bougie and high end and expensive, but they can do it at a lesser rate just because they know how to get those discounts, or they know how to, they have a decor team that can come up with those things. So there's a few ways to cut budget, but by having a planner, it's going to save you a lot of headaches and mistakes because you're going to spend more money fixing those mistakes and those should haves rather than just paying a planner. And they safeguard your deposit. Planners, make sure you safeguard the couple's deposit. At the end of the night, it's your job to make sure they get their deposit back. Couples,
from the venue?
Yeah, from the venue or whatever it might be. So just make sure that having a planner, they're going to be responsible for that because they're going to end up, like I said, making you or saving you money at the end. Some of the other things, stationery 2%, flowers it says 7%. I think people spend way more money.
Oh my
than
gosh,
7%
way
on
more.
flowers.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And what was the entertainment side?
It said DJ 4%
Four?
and 13% for a band. I think a band, depending on the band, we had Baking's band, like I said, this weekend, and yeah, they were definitely that. They were 10-piece band.
Oh, well,
it's just different,
yeah.
You know. There's horns and all this other stuff that goes into it.
Well, you got 10 people.
Yeah, 4% for a DJ is extremely low percentage. So I would say the best thing to do also is, as a couple, sit down and say, here's my non-negotiable. Here's my non-negotiable. As a couple, you each get one, and it should be in about the same price range. If you know your partner is hooked on making sure that they have all this incredible food because they're just a foodie and it's super important to them for that, and yours is more photography and making sure that you've gotten your engagement photos and all those things, those should probably be about the same price range, kind of. Those are your non-negotiables, and then everything else you work together to figure out the budget on. Yeah. Because I feel like you each should have that one thing that's most important to you.
That's fair.
I think so. My non-negotiable was the decor on my end when I got married, and that's what I was in charge of, was the decor. And and my dress was a non-negotiable. But I still did a really great job finding an inexpensive dress, but it was still, you know, top end of the budget. But as far as my husband, it was him and DJ and food were his non-negotiables.
Okay.
And I was like, I respect that. I've got my two, you've got your two. We'll come together on everything else.
So what do you see? So typically the order of booking things is what I've seen. Always number one is the venue.
Yes.
Typically, I mean,
Yes.
99% of the time, the venue is always the first thing you should look into booking because ultimately it's your date.
Yeah.
Once you get that booked,
Everything else falls together.
everything else falls into place.
Colors,
But
everything.
yes, but like after the venue, what I typically see is, and in no particular order, so always venue number one, and then falling in the next top five would, within the top five would be catering, photo, entertainment. What else?
Video.
Well, I mean, photo, video, same.
Yeah.
I mean, usually
I
it's
would say
photo.
those are your top five: venue, photo, video, entertainment, catering, and what's the other one?
Wedding planner, maybe.
Yeah, because I mean,
they're going to help put that all together.
and you can ask any planner. I mean, just in our area alone, in the Florida, West Coast Florida area, planners are so booked. They're so busy. But this is also a great way, like I said, to stretch your budget. If your planner's not available and you really have that as a non-negotiable, or the venue's not available and that's your non-negotiable, go for the date that they have available that makes sense and push it out, because you'll be more thankful for it along the way. Just don't push it out to like 2 years if possible, because a lot of ideas and colors and things come about and trends change so much within that 2 years. You'll start off with one idea and then you'll end up like, oh wait, I should do this. And then everything changes, like colors and everything.
And couples, if you are thinking, oh, I don't think I need a wedding planner or coordinator, believe me, you do.
You do.
You do, because I've been a part of weddings, not as a DJ, but as a groomsman, and the groom and the bride were putting everything together, and they put their family to work. Honestly, it's worth the investment to hire a wedding planner or coordinator, even if it's just day of. Have them take care of everything. And all you have to do is
leave.
that, and you can just like sit back and relax and enjoy the day.
Because you got to think about, if you are the point person, you and your partner are the point person the whole entire time. Your wedding is about 5 hours long. If you're the point person for every single one of your vendors, let's just say there's 7 vendors. They all have 10 questions. Maybe you didn't get back to them on something, or a detail, or something needs to pivot. Guess who they're coming to? That's a whole lot of questions to be asked in the most blissful time.
Well, and it's funny, because if there's no wedding planner, who becomes the coordinator?
The DJ.
This guy.
Don't do that to him. Don't
do that to us.
Don't do that.
I mean, we are essentially like a coordinator. We are not a planner. But we coordinate the day of. We don't like put anything together. But as far as like running the show, we definitely do that. And we have no problem doing that, because we're doing that anyway. But
you're not putting out fires.
But no. I mean,
hopefully not having to put out fires. Like, oh, by the way, this happened or that happened. Like that's not on you guys to deal with. So having that point person. And here's what I'm saying. And we can add this to our topics of how to choose the right planner for you, because personalities matter.
And that goes for anybody.
For any, when you're hiring your dream team, we're going to go extensively into that next topic.
Hiring the dream team. Love it.
Hiring your dream team, because really they're going literally at bat for you. They are going to either hit a home run or they're going to strike out. And you need to know that you hired the right ones to carry you from beginning of to the end.
True that.
Yep.
Love it. Anything else that we should, so that's one, how to be a good guest, and two, like what to expect kind of like with budgets. Like obviously we didn't give like hard numbers, but we gave you kind of some percentages to look at.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go in a little bit more depth, in more depth, like on, the cost of various venues in the Sarasota and Bradenton areas.
Absolutely.
Because I would like to know that.
I think the Bishop might be the least expensive.
I don't know, how much is the Bishop?
$2,000.
But that's just to rent the venue. Yeah, it's about the same for like the Powell Crosley. Love the Powell Crosley. It's like
Powell
between
Crosley's
2 or 4.
5.
Oh, it's 5? Really?
Yep. On the Ringlings, on the New College side, $5,000. I know my research because we're getting ready to raise our prices. And
Oh,
so,
you know what? It was not. I don't think I found the Powell. It was the Philippi Mansion.
Philippi Mansion
Is like around between 2 and 4.
Yeah.
I think. But again, that's just to rent the venue.
And that's super inexpensive.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Super.
So don't
like
get crazy out there
are
thinking
like 5 and 7 to start.
Yeah.
And you don't get anything. You
No.
just get maybe 4 walls.
You get you get the foundation.
There you go.
But it's a beautiful foundation.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. So all right, guys.
Some things to think about. Hopefully those tips help too, because I don't think people really or couples really think about like, okay, let's sit down and really. It's a stressful conversation, and it's a hard conversation to have. And so I think if you just give yourself some grace, win a glass of wine or a beer or whatever your cocktail is, and sit down and really do the numbers. And like I said, talk to a financial planner, see how far out you want to stretch it. And just do the homework that it takes to make sure that you're set up for success, and then have a spare little, category over to the side that's for those incidentals and for tips and gratuities and things like that. Don't forget about that.
That's going to be another
That's
topic.
a whole nother topic.
Tips
And gratuities and thank yous. It doesn't always have to be in the financial green dollar form to appreciate somebody either. I've gotten some great gifts that were
gifts. Okay.
Yeah, that were not.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Were not like tips that were like dollars. It doesn't always have to be in the dollar form. So.
All right.
But yeah, all things weddings.
All things weddings.
Yeah.
All right, people.
The Scoop.
Podcast number 2 complete. The Scoop Weddings Unveiled. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.
Peace and chicken grease.
See you, Brandy.
Bye.